So a young man was being trained as a movie usher. You know, they're the people, the guys that are there when you walk in a little bit late. It's all dark in the theater and you're trying to find your way. You look for the person with the jacket and the name tag that says usher, yes? And you look for them to get you to a seat in a place that gets you to where you need to go. So as he was in movie usher training, the manager said, well, young man, he said, are you prepared to do this job? He said, you know, because it could be that there's an emergency that would happen along the way and you're going to need to be ready. There could be a fire. He goes, oh, no, you don't need to worry about me. As a matter of fact, I said right in the back, I can get out with no trouble in a couple of seconds. Well, he didn't really understand the responsibility of his name tag. He didn't really understand that it was more than just wearing a tag that said usher, but that he might require it at some unpredictable moment to be on task, to be bold, to be brave, to take a stance for what he believes. As I say so often, it's very easy to be unity when you're in here in a community, especially people that some of you took your boat to get over here this morning. It's real easy to be unity because you're with people that are going to embody you from wherever you came from and whatever you're doing or about to do. You're going to be loved and immersed in that loving light of God, yes?
Yes.
But when it's time for us to take our name tag more serious is when we are the first responders to things in our community, down the street from where we live, when we're with our colleagues, when life pressures are calling forth something for us. That's the time to take our name tag very, very seriously. I love the story that Joel Osteen tells about his dad in the 50s when he was traveling around often and visiting places and doing revivals and doing ministry. And because he wanted it to go well, he would carry his sound equipment around with him in his trunk of his car. Well, one night he was just so excited. He got there a little bit early, but he was so excited that he accidentally locked the keys to his car in the trunk. So he couldn't open the trunk and get his sound equipment out. And so he's fretting and everything, and he's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be a few hundred people here, which was a big deal for him. And so anyway, he said all of a sudden his dad had like this remembering, and he went, you know, I know how to pray. I know how to pray. And he said, you know, I prayed for the lawnmower when it didn't work. I prayed for the dishwasher when it didn't work. I mean, I prayed boldly. And so he stood over the trunk and, you know, people were around watching. And he said, God, you know, here I am to do this work. Open this trunk so I may do my work well. And he goes over then and you know, moves it and sees if it will open, and it didn't. And he walked away. Well, as he was walking away, there was a click sound. And the trunk opens. As if the universe was saying, hallelujah. What was the universe saying? Because he remembered his name tag. He remembered his capacity to pray boldly, to move mountains, to open trunks, to lift the spirit. Whatever it is, he checked into that. You know, name tags and who we are in our reality can be extremely important. I was telling somebody the other day that we were talking about our names, and when I was a kid, you know, some of the other kids made fun of my name. What's that? Temptation? You temptation? You know, deal with it, you know. Well, that's a name like Temple. What is that? You know? Anyway, so, but the person that I live with, you know, she has a real thing about her name because her full name is Barbara. And so people will come up to her and go, how you doing, Barb? I can see the skin on her neck. She goes, Barbara is fine. You know, and we talk about that sometimes. Who gives people permission to just shorten your name? You know? I mean, if somebody walks up to her and his name is Jerry, she wouldn't say, well, how you doing, Jay? You know? It's like, so that's why she goes by BB. I'm giving you way more information. You know, it's like if you can't say it right, I'm going to give you something else to work with. But anyway. But where she really stood for her name, it brought me to tears. Because she was diagnosed in 2003 as having cancer. And people would come up and they would name her, "You poor thing. Oh, pitiful you. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear this. Oh, what stage are you? Oh, poor gal." And she would stand there, praying boldly, and she would say, "Oh no, don't you call me that. No, no, no. Let me teach you how to affirm me. I am well, I am whole, I am God's beloved, and all is well." That we set boundaries of who we are when we understand our name tag and our purpose. We must stand for it in a holy and bold way. There was a woman that when she was just getting out of high school, she met the love of her life. They married and they were together for 60 years. And when he died, she had engraved on his tombstone, "The light of my life has gone out." And so she grieved, and she grieved some more. And then she met this wonderful man. And she had the engraver go back and put underneath it, "I struck a new match." In similarity, but different, when I was a little girl craving to be part of a church and being there with my family and going with my grandfather to church, where he had, for that time, the state record in the state of South Carolina for serving as a deacon for 40 years. That part of me that is a part of us, all of us long to be connected to God. It's innate. It's like just as the plant's reaching for the sun, at the same time the sun is reaching towards the plant. It's something instilled within us, within our heritage, wherever we are, from wherever we are. We long to know that interconnection. But when I was involved with the church as a child, what they were teaching, the light of my life went out. Because I could not have that understanding of how there was a teaching that separated me from everything else, because I was a Southern Baptist and everybody else in the whole world was wrong but us. And so the light of my life, that energy, was going out. But I met a new match. I struck a new match when I discovered new thought and when I discovered unity. How many people do you know today? Yes? They say they're discouraged about God. I don't believe in God. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is, I don't believe in the God people told me about. I don't believe in that light out of my life about what I was told about God, that people are separated, that this one can't be who they are, that the color of your skin makes you more elite than somebody else. No, no, no. But an all-inclusive kind of energy, an all-inclusive kind of vibe. Some of the most spiritual people I've ever conversed with initially use the name tag that they are atheist. And they are not. I always tell them, you spend more time talking about what God isn't than people that say they discovered God talk about what God is. Amen? I mean, really, because they do believe. They just don't believe what is being taught. And how fortunate are we to be in this all-inclusive type of experience. Yes. Due to the nudging of Reverend Richard and his relationship, he and Chris's relationship with Dr. Carlton Pearson. If you don't know him, you want to know him. He's an amazing man, and he was at the conference I've been at in New Orleans. Our family says Nolans this week. Because we were coming together with the Association of Global New Thought. We were coming together with people that are taking church out to the streets to make a difference in community. And that being said, he was there. And many years ago, just to give you a little movie trailer of his life, is Dr. Carlton Pearson graduated from Oral Roberts University. He went on to be the most noted African American minister, probably of all times, but definitely of those times. He was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He taught a ministry of 22,000 people in membership, and therefore he had about 5,000 or 6,000 people that came every week, right? And they were coming week after week after week, and he was at the prime of his game. And he had his own TV show, and he was very, very popular until one Sunday, or a series of Sundays, he stood up and he said, I can't do this anymore. I don't believe in what we're teaching here. I don't believe that we need to shame people, that we need to say that the color of your skin gives you the eliteness. I can't stand up anymore and say that children die in other countries because of something the devil did. I can't do this anymore. I don't believe in it. I've struck a new match. Can you imagine? Yeah. There he was in that space, and people and people and people, and more people walked away, and more people left, and more people would not stand by him anymore. Even the people he had made, whom I won't name out loud, but famous people, and you can look it up. They all turned on him. He wrote a book, The Gospel of Inclusion. And that is what we're talking about. That is what we have on our name tag, is we are a gospel of inclusion. No matter who you are, what you practice, you can practice with us. Yes? He stood by his truth. He prayed boldly. He struck a new match within himself. And now he is become known in other circles. And they're going to release a film next year at Sundance. It's called Come Sunday. Martin Sheen is going to play Oral Roberts. Can you get that? And it's going to be wonderful, and I'll let you know more about it so we can all, as a group, go, or whatever. How is your name tag making you bold? What is the responsibility that comes with that? What is that responsibility that, connects you, and how does it change you? I was have been all my life, a dedicated metaphysician. And I used to be the first one to say, don't read the news, don't look at the news. But with my name tag, as time evolved and the world evolved, it became my responsibility to know what was happening out there. You see, that I could no longer protect myself in my little cave of, kumbaya. I could no longer just contain myself with that energy field that it's a loving world, even though in the consciousness I know that to be true, that it is. But I needed to know what was going on, so in spiritual true leadership, I would be able to talk about the things that we're facing today as a nation and as a world and as families and in community. You understand that? And so even though you may commit one way with what your name tag is, you want to let it evolve as things are evolving all around you. It is important. It's necessary, and it is crucial, really. It's like the dry cleaners called 1 hour cleaners. And the man on Monday takes his suit in. And he said, oh, great, I'll be back in a couple hours to pick it up. They said, oh, it won't be ready till Thursday. He said, Thursday? You're saying, 1 hour cleaners. They said, oh, that's just the name. So we have to be more than that. We have to be much more than that. Cheryl Richardson, a noted author with Hay House, said that there was a defining moment when what she held in her life changed. And it was because of the teachings of Abraham and the teachings of Esther Hicks. And she said she's sitting there and she's listening to Esther Hicks. And Esther Hicks said, you want to remember in your life that things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for me. Say that with me. Things are always working out for me. There we go. Let's say it again and just feel it in ourselves. Things are always working out for me. I'd love you this week to really tune into that. Whenever whenever the phone rings, whenever someone stops by, no matter what you hear, no matter what is spoken to you externally, no matter what you read on some of the news, I would like you to go, things are always working out for me, and then track it. Not just Pollyanna conversation, but track it. And see how, because you held it that way, you start looking for it that way, just as Joel Osteen's dad was waiting on that trunk to open. He could have walked away 3 or 4 times, but he stood there waiting. And then he heard the clip. Things are always working out for me. You know, Wallace Wattles, a lot of people don't know him by name, but they know his teachings, and Bob Proctor came then later and put it on the map. These are great teachings from the 1800s. And Wallace Wattles, he's known for the science of getting rich. But the book that he did that I really love is called The Science of Being Well. The Science of Being Well. And so in his teaching, he says this: the human body is the abiding place of an energy which renews it when born, which eliminates waste or poisonous matter, and which repairs the body when broken or injured. This energy we call life. What do we call it? This energy we call life, right? So hold that thought. Life is not generated or produced within the body. It produces the body. Can you feel the difference? Life is not generated or produced within the body. It produces the body. It's that energy of life. The seed which has been kept in the storehouse for years will grow when planted in the soil. It will produce a plant. But the life in the plant is not generated by its growing. It is the life which makes the plant grow. Can you make that distinction?
Yes.
Okay. Because a lot of times when we look at healing, when we look at the name tag as a healer, we get caught in the conditions. In our own energetic experience, we often get caught in the condition of something versus saying to ourselves and our well-being, I need to allow more life to come through me. That's what I need. I need that vitality of life to come through my experience. That's what needs to happen here. Life, when someone is affirming each and every day, I welcome life, I greet life, I'm thriving on life, what's very interesting is the desire for cookies become less. The desire for addictions become less. The need to be filled up by somebody else's love bucket becomes less. The desire to be codependent becomes less. The need to be caught up or bought up by something or someone else becomes less. You become more wholly bold, you see. As Dr. Pearson would say to me, I know what your family did to you. I know a little bit about your story. I know that some of them turned on you and some of them still don't have a relationship with you. And he said, you know, I want to tell you that I can tell from your presence that you've done the work. And I said, well, there was a moment the light of my life went out, but I struck a new match. Because I understood that life that Spirit of the Lord and life and law want to live through me, and that exceeds anything else that I will have any kind of relationship with, you see. It's like when you were in that traditional conversation, you know, you were taught, don't think too much of yourself. Oh, don't like yourself too much. Oh, it's not okay to be assertive, and goodness forbid you should have a little bit of self-esteem. But not in unity, you see. In unity, we anticipate that you're going to say that you love yourself because you are God's beloved. Because when you say you love yourself, you're saying to all of us, I love God and I believe in God because God created me in His image and likeness. It's a stronger kind of energy field that you are in. When you say things like, God is angry, you're saying you're angry. When you're saying God is not accepting, you're saying I'm not accepting. But when you step in that field of love, and you understand that life vibration, then you understand that anything is possible. anything where you stand and live and move, and the seed that you're ready to plant, it is inevitable that it's going to grow. When I was in ministerial school, 28, 29 years old, not that long ago, just stay with me. A story has stuck with me just like it was yesterday. Dr. Ernest Holmes was training some of his ministers in training. There was a woman in ICU, and the family had asked Dr. Holmes and his entourage to come in and tell her goodbye. And that's what they were going for. And they go in ICU, and there's wires everywhere on their nose and around and everything. Her eyes are closed, and the beeps of the sound of things going on. And so Ernest goes right up to her, and he kind of hovers over her. And he says, "Rose, Rose, it's so good to see you, Rose. You got the most beautiful eyes. They're so pretty and blue, Rose." And some of the students are trying to get around, like, her eyes aren't even open. What's he doing? Rose, we love those blue eyes, Rose. And when you walk in the sanctuary, you light up a room, Rose. And when you're there and serving as an usher, people talk about you all the time. We miss you, Rose. Rose, we really need you to come back, Rose. He just kept hovering over her. We long to see you again, Rose. And his students are going, he's losing it, And all of a sudden, movement started happening. Life started happening. Rose opened her eyes, and yes, they were blue. And she looked up at him. He said, "I'll see you in a couple weeks, Rose." And he did. We do not deny the appearances. We hold the space for the presence and power of life. I'll close with the story of a man that read a book called Man in the House. And he went home and he told his wife, "Things are going to change around here. I'm going to have myself a gourmet meal every night." He said, "And then somebody is going to run me some bath water and give me a bath and wash my hair. And somebody's going to have my suit laid out. I'm going to get dressed, and then they're going to comb my hair. Now, who would that be?" And she looked at him and she said, "The Undertaker."